and I missed him. I missed him. This one was right there, and here he was. That's what happens sometimes.
Oh, it's a nice dude at 7x6.
I know.
Typical.
I know he was.
Missing deer in Iowa happens. The only really bad part is that the deer you miss are so darn big. Welcome once more to Winchester's World of Whitetail with host Larry Weishaupt.
That's what we're looking for, something like that.
I agree. I agree.
Winchester's World of Whitetail is brought to you by the Dallas Safari Club, promoting conservation, education, and ethical hunting worldwide. Nikon, the trusted name in optics. Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Thompson Center, America's master gunmaker. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter. The Buck Bomb blows away traditional scents. And by Bad Boy Buggies, they'll never hear you coming.
Iowa white-tailed deer, both typical and non-typical, appear throughout the pages of the record books, and the bucks found here in this part of the state on Timberghost Ranch are no exception. This is where Mr. Whitetail, Larry Weishaupt, has come in search of the trophy deer of a lifetime, with guides Travis Simpson and Mike Hine.
Spent a lot of time looking for shed antler. What all does that tell you? I mean, how do you look at when you pick up a shed antler? What does that tell you?
We look at it, what we use it for a lot of times is if we make changes in feed, changes in population, I mean any kind of change, we take those and we try to match it up to deer that we harvest, and then we'll measure. And we'll take measurements on beam length, their mass, tine length, and it may be that we do that 3 years from now. Sometimes we're doing it shed to shed, sometimes it's shed to deer that we've harvested. But when the deer finally gets harvested or we find him dead from a fight or something, we pull teeth, we send those into a lab and we get an age. Well, then we can go back and we can take that information and classify it by each age class, and we can look during each year what was the average jumps for different age classes.
I mean, we did the same stuff for years to where, you know, where you could find successive antlers. You know, it's interesting to see what progression they make, you know, and if, like I say, if you don't get those increases.
Gosh, I wish we were smart enough to use all that data.
Yeah. If you guys can get a buck to walk in front of the shooting range tomorrow, you'll be doing just fine.
Yeah.
In operation since 1998 and lying outside the southeast Iowa town of Sperry in the Mississippi River Bluff country, Timberghost Ranch has over 6,000 acres of fenced and unfenced hunting area covered in hardwoods, agricultural fields, food plots, and CRP land.
Well, Larry?
Yes, sir.
This is kind of, yeah, I hate making game plans when it comes to whitetail, but you got to have a starting point.
Yeah, you're right.
You know, with the rut and everything coming on, you've got big fields, crop fields out here, and set aside and little draws of fingers and everything. This is mostly big timber and cedar thickets. What we'll probably do is we may work some of these ridges just kind of got a lot of roll to them, and they drop down into a big creek bottom that runs up and then kind of winds through the property.
Right.
We'll work some of these, drop in the creek, and just kind of keep popping off of that creek and checking up in these areas, rattling, seeing what's running those ridges. You know, they should be coming in out of these fields and everything. If we come in on this offside, won't disturb any of this. So.
Yeah, and I bet there's a lot of deer moving in there too, especially, I know there's, like I said, there's some cedars. They like to bed up in those, and then there's probably oak trees scattered throughout there, so there's acorns all over the place, and then there's probably still some stuff left out in the field for them to eat too.
No.
Man, that sounds like a good idea.
But we won't get them sitting in here. So.
No, I better go find some other clothes
Yeah,
to
go
put
get
on.
changed and get ready to go and head out.
God, I'm so tickled to be here, though. I can't wait to get out there. In this particular instance, I'm hunting with a 460 S&W using some Winchester ammo that was developed specifically for hunting big game. Pistol hunting is great fun. It's not as difficult as what most people might believe it to be. You've got a very accurate firearm. It's a short piece that you can carry. It's a lot easier to carry and lug around. Strategy-wise, we're going to try to get in a little bit closer. I feel very comfortable with this pistol out to, well, I'll say 125, 150 yards.
You know, one of the advantages of it is it's a smaller weapon. You know, when we're set up and we're sitting down next to the trees or, you know, trying to crawl into a brush pile, there's not some long thing that he has to move around. He can get it in and out of tight little spots with minimal amount of movement. So it should be interesting. We don't have a lot of pistol hunters. It can create some unique challenges for the guide, but you know, hey, we're ready to deal with it and looking forward to having a great hunt.
Right there, isn't
Yeah, it's right behind the trees.
he? Yeah.
To the right, there's a couple of young bucks, but they're with a group of does up there.
Yeah.
One of the does has got us a wind swirling.
I can see just a little bit of an antler on this one side over here. I think that's probably him. I can't see anything at the
If we'll
bottom.
just turn back to the right, there's a little opening
Yeah,
up to the right up there. If we'll come through and stop. Okay, he's starting to turn. He's starting to turn.
He's moving. He's moving.
He's back up.
Yeah.
Thick stuff right now. Thick doe. They just went back up and around. He's still with the does.
Yeah.
Let's just let him calm down and maybe we can loop back around and see if we
Get the
can.
wind right. Yeah. He's pretty. I love how my kind chooses to hunt because he hunts kind of the same way I do. Is you walk into an area, you sit, you watch, you rattle, you do some still hunting. You don't rely on just one simple technique because you have to adjust with the wind. You have to adjust with the habitat.
They look like they just dumped off, probably dumped right over the top of this back into those open ridges. We'll see if we can't get around there and at least get a high.
Yeah. Well, we decided we better make a move, so we dropped off the hillside, got down into creek bottom, and we're easing along real slow and just kind of picking up and glassing every once in a while and glassing, and Mike's just a few steps there ahead of me, and all of a sudden he goes, get out, get out, get out, get out, get out. You know, and I look and I can just see the tips of the antlers back off through the brush over there. Here's this absolutely beautiful tree, just perfect to lay that old pistol right up there. Mike waits just a little bit and he hits the horns and nothing happens. He hits the horns again and here comes this buck out there at about 25 yards. You can tell he's a big old deer, big neck. He's drooling. I mean, his eyes are bugged out. He is in the rut wanting to fight really bad. Find the spot, I'm gonna try to hit him right on the shoulder, pull the trigger. I missed him. I couldn't believe I missed him. I mean, the deer's not but 25, 30 yards out there.
Now, what's that old saying?
Which one?
You know, one shot meat, two shot maybe, three shot nothing.
All right, that's enough.
Yeah, one was enough for that buck. He didn't let you get to three.
Felt good. It was just kind of one happenstance.
Just one was right there, and he was. But I'm one of those that believes for everything that's happened, there is a reason. There is a reason. I didn't know for sure what it was. Maybe I was going to find a smaller deer. Maybe I was going to find a bigger deer. Maybe no deer at all. But it was a great experience of having that deer right there and a humbling experience in missing him. I love to hunt Iowa, big deer, big woods, big hunting opportunities. I mean, you really have to be a good hunter here to take a good quality mature buck.
With guide Mike Hine, host Larry Wisehoon is hunting the famed Timberghost Ranch. As one of the other guides said earlier, deer are deer no matter where they are. And Larry's finding that to be truer than ever. It's been a challenging hunt. Decisions made harder by the knowledge that there's supersized bucks in these woods. And it's careful management that's made them that way. The kind of management we learn about during Larry's World of Management.
There was a time many years ago when I first started hunting, I'd have walked across a mile of prickly pear to find a buck, anything that looked like that. In a lot of states, that's a heck of a nice deer. And you know why? Because they're shot at that age right there, 1.5 years, maybe 2.5 years. If you shoot a deer at this age, he is never going to have a chance to grow a set of antlers like that, which is probably about a 3 or 4 year old deer on a really good, well-managed place. And if you leave him alone for another year or two, he could just possibly turn into a monster like that. As a wildlife biologist, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different deer herds scattered all over North America, and the one thing that I found is, for the most part, deer have a tendency to produce their best antlers when they're 4.5 years of age or older. Farther north you go, maybe at 3.5 and older. And that's simply because up until that point, they've been growing body. They've been growing long bones. And once their skeletal system is totally complete in terms of growing, then any nutrition that's not available, or not needed rather, for maintenance can be turned into antlers. As we're learning more and more about whitetail deer, particularly through all the quality deer management we've done, we're seeing a lot of people starting to pass up these kind of bucks. There's nothing wrong with taking a deer like that if you've not taken one like that before, but once you've taken 2 or 3 of them that are about yay wide, maybe 8 or 9, 10 points, maybe it's a good idea to start passing them up and giving them a chance to get a little bit of age, to get them into this age class, with this being the ultimate down the road. Now, if I could just find that buck out here somewhere, I'd be happy. One of the ways that's really good for hunting right before the rut really kicks off to the peak, and even to the first few days of the peak of that rut, is take a set of rattling horns and make noise. Try to sound as best you can like 2 bucks fighting. During this time frame, when that buck's testosterone level is at an all-time high throughout the year, he is totally agitated most of the time, and so he's doing one of 2 things. He's either out looking for a doe that he can court, or he's looking for a fight. We're setting up next to this tree that I got trying to set the shooting sticks up for the pistol, and just about that time, here comes a doe. She's walking, then she's kind of walking a little bit faster, and as she walks, you can see her tail's about half-mast, which is almost always a dead giveaway that that doe is an estrus. And immediately we get ready, because I know there's going to be a buck on her tail. Now, how big is he going to be? I'm not sure. I just know one's coming. Here comes this buck, and I mean absolutely the buck of a lifetime. He's got at least 10 points. Massive. One of the biggest typical whitetail deer I've ever seen in my life, especially when I've been hunting. I mean, I've seen a few deer that were outstanding, but we weren't hunting at the time, or maybe the seasons were closed. But he's coming right toward us. Just then, the doe sees us, the wind swirls, she runs, he turns and runs, and thankfully we were able to get a little bit better look at him, but there was no chance at an opportunity for a shot. But I did see the size of this deer, and I'm going, oh my God. You know, and you think about it, you're never gonna see this deer again. I'll close my eyes and think of that deer.
There's a big buck coming over the ridge with those. If you get a chance, take him.
Winchester's World of Whitetail is brought to you by the Dallas Safari Club, promoting conservation, education, and ethical hunting worldwide. Nikon, the trusted name in optics. Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Thompson Center, America's master gunmaker. Cabela's, the world's foremost outfitter. The Buck Bomb blows away traditional scents. Bad Boy Buggies, they'll never hear you coming. And by Wild Game Innovations, nutrition, attraction, and action.
You know, sometimes you go somewhere and you just have a feeling. It's hard to describe. That's the way this place felt to me, and I think to my kind as well.
Larry, there's a big buck coming over the ridge with those. If you get a chance, take him.
You know, for the most part in life, you may have an opportunity one time at an absolutely monstrous buck. And you've generally got about 5 seconds to see them, evaluate them to age and antler size, estimate the distance, and make the shot. Now that just took a whole lot longer than 5 seconds to tell you, so that's how quick you've got to make your mind up when you see this buck. He's coming down, he's coming down this slope. Now right off this slope is a deep creek bottom. He stops right on the edge of that creek bottom, just about 10 feet from the top, and I know it is now or never.
Oh
man, all I could see was really just part of me. He is down, and I can tell by the elation and the excitement of Mike. There's something really special about this deer. Mike's excited, I'm excited. I'm excited because I know it's a big deer, but I don't know how big it is.
I have no idea how big he is. All I know is he's tall. I saw the antlers glinting in the sun. Let's go look at him.
Look at the tire length on that thing.
Oh my God.
It can't be, but it is. It's the buck that we saw the day before. 10 long points, split brow tines, 12-inch tines, 9-inch fronts, 7, 8-inch brow tines, 26, 27, 8-inch main beams. No doubt, at my feet lay the biggest deer that I've ever taken in my life.
Man.
Look at the brows. Got a split brow on one side, but look at the tine length.
Holy cow.
Oh,
that deer's awesome.
Mr. Hine, I want to tell you something. You and I have had some fun together on hunts. We've taken some big deer, but
Not like that.
all of them added up together don't look like that one.
Oh, man.
Okay, you just watch here and just tell me this is where I'm gonna do what I think. You just give me the
Hey, you're the
agreement.
master scorer.
Right?
9 and 4.
And four. We are at 19-3.
It is pretty.
Yeah,
It is just pretty.
he is.
I mean, even more than pretty, actually.
Scoring's good. It's fun for records and record keeping.
You're right.
But
you
on
know,
an animal this big, You know, it doesn't matter. It's almost, I mean, I'm not going to say it's a disrespectful thing to the animal. It's not. But it doesn't matter.
No. To me, what's important is that these mature deer, he's got good antlers, and I like him.
That's right.
You know, all the rest of it doesn't make a darn bit of difference when you get right down to it. And this time it worked out on a deer that scored over 200, my biggest whitetail ever. Still can't believe it.